In this video, we're going to look at CRA models for comparing and ordering whole numbers. So we're going to start with comparing. We're also going to start with the concrete model. So here we're going to compare the value of 6 and 2. Okay, so with the concrete models, these are just connecting cubes. So with the concrete model, since we can physically move these around, one way we can do this is by direct comparison or direct measurement. We can see that the 6 is taller, or you think of it this way, as longer than that value of 2. So here we know that the 6 is greater than 2. So that's our concrete model. Representational model is going to be up on the top here. So again, we have 6 circles versus 2 circles there. We want to see which is, whether that 6 is greater than or less than the 2. With a drawing, right, we can't physically move these necessarily, right? So we might just say we'll cross one off on each, and we'll just do that iteratively or over and over until we don't have any left in one of those groups. Okay, those one cross up. So we have crossed up both from 2. We still have 4 left over on this quantity of 6. So that means that this quantity of 6 is greater than our quantity of 2. Okay. And then both of the abstract models that I've included here would be considered an abstract model. So this first line, this would be for younger grades where we're not using the greater than, less than symbols quite yet. But this would be our, whether this is written or spoken, right? This is our abstract model, is saying or writing that 6 is greater than 2, where the is greater than is written out. Eventually, once we transition into using our symbols, right, this would be our abstract model. 6 is greater than 2. I do want to show kind of one way we can use those connecting cubes to kind of help explain some of the meaning behind this symbol here, that greater than and less than. So this explanation is, it's going to be a little bit different than the crocodile teeth one. It's going to be more related to the actual idea of quantity. So if we think of, right, so we have 6 compared to 2, kind of what we're going to do is we're just going to connect these top lines, right? If we want to kind of compare these quantities, and I'll show the reverse case as well to kind of show you can use for both. Right, this 6 compared to 2, and this will work better if one value is a little bit larger than the other one. Right? If we take these away, we can see, if we kind of think of continuing this line, right? In this order, this forms, when we connect those lines, this forms the greater than symbol, right? 6 is greater than 2. If we were to switch these around, if we had 2 on the left and then 6 on the right, again, we can use this same type of strategy. Right, and then again, you can kind of think of continuing this. Right, then we have 2 is less than 6. So really what we're kind of looking at is trying to highlight that this symbol, the distance between those points, these two different lines, obviously in the symbol this intersects, but right, this distance between the two will always open up toward that larger quantity. So kind of similar to that way of remembering that using the kind of crocodile teeth, right? It points towards the larger number. But this is kind of another strategy that we can use, kind of, piggybacking off of those concrete models that we would use initially, and kind of an explanation that is based on the actual value or magnitude of those numbers. So that's the comparing. Ordering, we'll go through the ordering quickly. Comparing versus ordering just means that instead of, if we're comparing, we just have 2 numbers. If we're ordering, it just means we have more than 2. So you might have 3, right? So we want to order these either from least to greatest or from greatest to least. We'll just do least to greatest. But again, with the concrete model, we can use these connecting cubes if we want to order these least to greatest. Since they're concrete, we can move these around, right? Kind of directly compare them. So here our red is just representing 4. So you can see that 2 is our smallest value, and then increasing in value, it will go from 2 to 4, and then from 4 to 6. Okay. Kind of the same strategy as far as our representational model, right? So we originally had, so we have 6, and I believe we have 2 is the next one, and then 4. All right, so we can kind of go through these one by one, cross one out, since we can't necessarily directly compare all of them. So if we take one away or kind of omit that one, we keep going through this in a row. So we know 2, right? We're completely out of our counters for 2, so that has to be the smallest value. And then I'll just write this in the abstract form so we can see that as well. And then we continue on with what we have remaining. So we'll cross the third one right there for the 6 and the 4. Fourth one, so we've crossed all the ones out for 4. We still have some remaining for 6. So that means 4 is going to be our next smallest value. And then since 6 is the only one that has anything remaining, 6 will be our larger value. So, and this will be our abstract model. Generally for these, if we want to order it from least to greatest, if we want to order it from greatest to least, often we'll just do these comma separated lists. So again, concrete model, one you can use is those unifix cubes or connecting cubes. Representational model is just going to be some kind of drawing that aligns with that. And then the abstract model is going to be for ordering. It's going to be some kind of comma separated list. If we're comparing, it'll be either that more the kind of sentence or spoken format of something is greater than something else or something is less than something else. And then our other abstract model for that is going to be using our inequality symbol, so greater than or less than.